Previously on Power Reviews. Prior to their Halloween festivities,
I went trick-or-treating next door.
Database Ranger makes a shocking discovery.
Everything's connected!
What new mysteries will be unraveled? Find out next on Database Ranger's Power Reviews.
Of course! Emily must have ties to the Viacom Illuminati. Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to Power Reviews. Don't mind the old conspiracy board there, I was just working on some theories. I think the magic bullet may have been a laser pellet. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to discuss mid-season finales. And to elaborate on this phenomenon, I once again direct you over to our scientific and technical consultant, Dr. K. Doctor?
Subject continues to show signs of mental deterioration and delusion.
What? Huh?
What?
Mid-season finales?
Yes. Very often, the network executives will place a temporary hiatus in the middle of the current airing season of a series. The episode immediately preceding this hiatus has come to be known recently as the mid-season finale. I really don't understand why this concept requires further explanation.
Alright, moving on. Now, technically, the last episode prior to the summer hiatus was boxed in. But since that was actually a continuation of the episode immediately preceding it, we will instead be discussing the pre-mid-season penultimate finale-esque whatever, episode 15 of Power Rangers Samurai, the Tengen Gate. Our episode begins on the Sanzu River, where Master Xandrid seems to be dealing with the painful side effects of Red DBZ's Zakato power. These surges are disrupting the entire netherworld, whipping the river into a frenzy, and leaving Octoroon and Dayu in charge of making sure no one takes advantage of him in his vulnerable state. In the human world, Decker sees the signs of Xandrid's rising power, and determines it to be the perfect time to finally duel Jaden, while giant uncontrollable Moogers, driven mad by their master's instability, mindlessly attack the city. The Rangers leap into action, advertising every toy and summoning every Zord to take on the Mooger army. The main five combine with the three auxiliary Zords to form the Battle Wing Megazord, while Antonio combines his Claw Zord and Octozord to form Claw Battle Zord North. After an initial skirmish, the Flying Moogers join the party and the Battle Wing Megazord takes to the skies, while Claw Battle Zord North continues to dispatch the ground troops, with the main team finishing off the last group in a final strike.
Samurai Rangers, victory is ours!
That was quick. So that's the end of our episode. Oh, right, I forgot, we're only 6 minutes in. Back in the Netherworld, Octoroon's worst worries are realized.
The boss still struggling. Who knows what kind of despicable and conniving Nylock might come around and...
Despicable and conniving?
Arachnator!
You're despicable.
And conniving. In fact, he wants to connive with Octoroon on how best to take down Master Xandrid. Knowing he can't beat him in a fight, Arachnator hopes to seal him away instead. At the Shiba House, the Rangers are concerned over the Sanzu river water that they saw seeping through the cracks during their last battle. They won that battle, but they know they're losing the war, so G suggests it's time to step up their game.
The black box?
What's the black box, you may ask?
A magic talisman. It is said it can unite the symbol powers of all Rangers into one, but none have the skill and power to complete it.
Big problem.
What about Antonio?
Excuse me?
He's a tech whiz.
Tech whiz. Not the same as an actual wizard, which is what you would want to work on a magic talisman. But since technology is apparently interchangeable with magic in the PR universe,
If he's willing, give him a shot.
they decide to give it a shot.
But he doesn't have mastery of symbol power like we do.
Trying to transfer even a few of our symbol powers into the box could destroy him.
So obviously the first thing they're going to do is ask Antonio if he is...
First, you must retrieve the black box.
No. First, you should be asking the guy whose life you're about to put in danger if he's cool with that.
I can't ask him to do this.
No, you could. You just don't. And decide to retrieve the black box anyway. So they all head off to meet with the Guardians of the Tengen Gate. Its name obviously being derived from the word Tengu, a nice nod to the Tengu Warriors from Season 3.
That isn't true.
What?
That isn't where the word Tengen comes from.
Alright, Doctor, so why don't you enlighten us?
Tengen is Japanese for center, or origin of heaven. Colloquially, it refers to the center point of the board in a game of Go, generally considered a key strategic position.
Oh, wow. That's a surprisingly well thought out and appropriate use of the term. Good job to the PR writers.
It's also the name they used in the Sentai.
I liked my explanation better. They reach the temple, paying their respects to a memorial of the original Power Rangers samurai, and meeting with Daisuke, Elder Guardian and long-lost triplet brother to Lothor and Sensei Watanabe. Suddenly, Cam's status as a samurai just became a little bit more legit. As the others head inside, Jaden stays behind with Daisuke for a moment longer.
You haven't told them your secret, have you?
Don't be a robot, don't be a robot, don't be a robot, don't be a robot. Inside, the Rangers inspect one of the temple tapestries.
It's an old folk tale. A young woman made a deal with the Nylock king to save the life of her beloved. But the king tricked her and turned them both into Nylock. The king took away the man's memory and cursed him to wander the earth alone forever.
And I'm sure this will never come up again. Oh, hi, Decker. I'm sure you have nothing to do with what we were just talking about. The half-Nylock runs into Antonio, out in the middle of nowhere for some reason, and the fish-happy ranger reminds him about their encounter and team spirit.
You said you would try my secret recipe, baby barracuda fish kebabs. They're muy fantastico.
I did say that.
While the battle-hardened warrior decides that his unquenchable thirst for conflict can be put on hold for a tasty bunch of fish kebabs, the 5 core rangers graciously accept the black box from Daisuke. T is prepared to commemorate the occasion, but a familiar inhuman hand emerges from a crack to work its evil mischief. And suddenly, it all happens. Arachnator and a legion of Moogers storm the gate, just as Jaden takes his first sip of tea and collapses in agony. I really have to hand it to the Nylock on a solid strategy here. Timing things to incapacitate their leader while simultaneously leading an assault on their allies is an excellent way to take down your foes. Of course, Octoroo had no way of knowing that Jaden would be the one to be poisoned, since all the cups are identical, but we can talk about that later. The 4 remaining Rangers quickly morph and dive into battle, where Mia finally gets the bright idea to call Antonio. Sure, you don't call him when you're planning to put his life in danger, but if you're the ones in peril, you just can't wait to pick up the phone, can you? Antonio hurries to help his friends at the Tengen Gate, and an intrigued Deckard decides to follow. In the surrounding bamboo forest, the Rangers strike down the Moogers, while Arachnator proves that Spider-Man's not the only amazingly acrobatic arachnid around, and starts making quick work of the team. Inside the temple, Octoroo threatens Jaden and the Guardians, who are apparently really bad at actually guarding people.
It's me you want. Let the Guardians go.
Again, how do these people function as Guardians?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Back in the forest, the Rangers are losing the battle against Arachnator, who has already managed to knock Mike and Mia down for the count. Antonio arrives to help, but Kevin and Emily tell him to go help Jaden instead, a decision they will probably regret almost immediately afterwards. Meanwhile, Jaden very slowly attempts to escape from Octoroo, who claims he will provide the antidote in exchange for the sealing symbol. Before the Cthulhuid critter shows what his tentacles can really do,
The man said no!
The Gold Ranger leaps to the rescue, while Decker carefully observes from a safe distance. Back in the Netherworld, Master Xandred finally recovers from his power surges, and decides to show Arachnator how he chooses to deal with traitors.
Arachnator, what shall I do with you? I torture you, I banish you, and still you plot against me!
I can't imagine why he doesn't like you. While Antonio battles Octoroo, okay, it's pronounced Sentai, people, with an S. Decker takes this opportunity to grab Jaden and leap off into the distance. Antonio attempts to give chase, but all he manages to find is the rest of the team, demorphed and unconscious in the middle of the forest. Somewhere off in the wilderness, Decker wades through knee-deep waters with Jaden on his shoulder, eager for the ultimate duel that he believes is finally at hand. And that's the end of our episode. So what did I think of it? Well, this is one of the stronger episodes of Power Rangers Samurai. This season seems to be at its best when focusing on the dynamics of the Nylock culture and the history of their conflicts with the Rangers. In other words, when not focused on the Rangers themselves. More than half of Samurai has been Ranger-focused character episodes that really don't play to the writer's strengths, so a more plot-driven story is a very welcome change of pace. Obviously, build-up is a huge part of this episode, since it really kicks off the story arcs that carry us all the way through into Super Samurai. The stakes are definitely raised, not only with Arachnator as a formidable foe, but also through Master Xandred's power surges and the first appearance of the Sanzu River in the human world. We also get to see the Nylock stepping up their strategy. For instance, not knowing which teacup would be Jaden's, Octoroo poisoned them all. This would seem to be a gamble since Jaden was the intended target and there was no guarantee that he would be the first to drink. However, the poison still could have incapacitated any of the Rangers or Daisuke, weakening their defense against Arachnator and still allowing Octoroo to use the antidote as a point of leverage. The Rangers, on the other hand, are pretty off their game in this episode. They were oddly defeatist after that first battle, expressing thoughts that are most commonly heard in their darkest hour, not when just coming back from a win.
We can't think about winning or losing.
I also have no idea why they left Antonio out of the discussions, especially when he was present at the battles and seems to be a key component of their plans for the future. Plus, I imagine he would have been a bigger help at the Tengen Gate had he actually been there from the beginning and not off in the middle of nowhere leading Decker back to Jaden. Speaking of which, despite the lack of Bulk and Spike, we do get some nice bits of humor from the interactions of Antonio and Decker. And now that I've put all 4 of them in a sentence together, I really want to see how Decker would interact with those two. Saban, Christmas special, do it! Overall, this is a pretty solid episode, feeling like a potential return to the more well-executed Sentai-driven story arcs of the post-Zordon era. Next week, we'll see if they can keep up this forward momentum with the follow-up episode and true mid-season finale, Boxed In. Until then, farewell Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.